You know, we're surrounded by color every single day. We pick clothes, we paint rooms, we talk about our favorite shades. We feel like we get it, right? But what if I told you that what you think you see isn't the whole story? That there's a hidden science to color that most of us just completely miss? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain and learn to see color like a real pro. So let's just start with a number, 80%. According to the experts, that is the failure rate in professional color matching. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That means 4 out of 5 times, even the pros can get it wrong. And the reason that number is so incredibly high? Well, it turns out most of those mistakes happen right at the very beginning, at the most basic, fundamental stage of just, well, misunderstanding what a color truly is. Which, of course, leads us to the big question, doesn't it? What do the professionals know that we don't? Stick with me, because we are about to unlock the insider's guide to seeing color the right way. Okay, so let's dive right in. Before we can see color like an expert, we have to learn to speak the language. So, we're going to start with the absolute basics, the building blocks that everything else is built on.
First up is hue. Now, this is the easiest one. You can just think of hue as the color's family name. You know, red, blue, yellow, green. It's that pure, basic color identity that we all learn as kids. Simple as that.
Okay, so what happens when you take one of those hues and add some pure white to it? You get a tint. This is how we make all those lighter, pastel-like versions of a color. The classic example, of course, is you take red, you add white, you get pink. Pretty straightforward, right? And on the complete flip side of that, if you add black to a hue, you create what's called a shade. This is how you get all those deeper, darker, richer versions of a color. So take that same red, add a little black, and you get a nice dark red, almost like a maroon. And finally, there's tone. This one's a little different. Tone is what you get when you mix gray, so a bit of black and white, into a hue. And adding gray is interesting because it doesn't just make a color lighter or darker. It actually dials down the intensity, making it feel more muted and subtle. Okay, knowing those 4 terms is a great start, but it's really just the beginning. Now we get to the real secret sauce, the hidden dimension of color that's behind almost all of those mistakes we were talking about. And here it is. It's all about understanding the difference between overtone and undertone. The overtone is just the first impression. It's what you see right on the surface. But the undertone, the undertone is the color's true character. It's the hidden pigment just waiting to show itself. Getting this distinction is, well, it's everything. And believe me, the stakes for getting this wrong are incredibly high. There's a saying in the industry, if the undertone doesn't match, the shade will flip in production. What that means is you could think you have a perfect match in the paint can, but once it's up on the wall, if that undertone is wrong, it can look like a completely different color. And this just shows you how tricky colors can be. Take green, for example. A lot of green pigments have what's called a blue-sided undertone. So when it's thick, it looks like, well, green. But when you spread it thin, you start to see this little hint of blue peeking through. That's its true character. This brings us to another pro term you should know, Masstone. The Masstone is basically the overtone. It's the color you see when it's in a thick, solid layer, like paint right out of the tube. It's what we all judge first, but as we're learning, it can be really misleading if you don't know what's hiding underneath. So, here's a crucial point. Color doesn't exist in a vacuum. We've talked all about the color itself, but how it actually looks to us is massively affected by its environment. And the biggest factor? Light. You see, what we perceive as color is really this amazing active collaboration between these 3 things. You've got the light source itself, the surface of the object that the light is bouncing off of, and, of course, our own eyes and brain doing the interpreting. If you change any one of those, the color you see changes too. So how do the pros get around this? Well, they control the variables. They eliminate all the guesswork. First, they always use a standardized light source. It's called D65, that perfectly mimics natural daylight. Second, they look at samples against a totally neutral gray background, so no other colors can mess with their perception. And third, they always look at it from the exact same angle. And hey, here's a little trick you can actually use yourself. Just by changing your viewing angle, tilting an object back and forth under a good light, you can often force that hidden undertone to pop out and say hello. The way the color shifts right at the edges can give you a massive clue about its true character. All right, let's bring this all home. We've gone from the absolute basics to some of the deepest secrets of the pros. This is your brand new toolkit for really seeing and understanding the colors all around you.
So here's a quick recap of our new vocabulary. You've got hue, the family name. Tint, that's when you add white. Shade is adding black, and tone is adding gray. Then the big ones. Overtone is the surface color, but undertone is that hidden character. And masstone is just the color in its thickest form. Getting this vocabulary down is absolutely the first step to seeing color with total precision. So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. Now that you know the secret of the undertone, that hidden dimension that really separates the amateurs from the pros, what hidden characters are you going to start seeing in the colors all around you? Go take a look. I think you're going to be pretty surprised.
Let me end with a quick story. Two people stood in the front of the sample plastic. Same light, same product, same color code. One said, "This looks too bluish." The other said, "No, it's a slightly yellowish." The lab machine said, "Perfect match." So who's right? Both. Because color is not just a hue, shade or tone. It's a human preparation under mass tone, light and experience combined. And the day you understand why the same color looks different to different eye, you stop matching colors blindly and start mastering them. This is where real color matching begins. See you in the next video. Thank you.